Hi, I'm Marnie and welcome to Exploring Colors. Today we are going to be discussing how text or words can be placed in art. Today is a very special lesson, and for this lesson we are going to be using a few items from our box, but we are also going to be looking at a book, a very special book. So for today, the items that you will need from your Exploring Colors box will be, we're going to take out our pencil, it's stuck, our pencil case that has our pencil and eraser and sharpener. I'm going to take out the markers and the colored pencils, the erasable colored pencils, and my Bristol paper. And I'm going to put my box away. But before we start with our art supplies, I wanted to share with you a very special book today. And the book I wanted to share with you is called Advice from My 80-Year-Old Self. And this is the book. And this book was written by an artist and curator, and her name is Susan O'Malley. And we'll be reading excerpts from this book with permission by Chronicle Books, who published the book. And if at the end of the lesson you're interested in purchasing this book, you can purchase it on Amazon or Chronicle Books website. But what is very special about this book is Susan used words in this book, and she created artwork around that. But not just any words. She had an idea for a project, and possibly you've had ideas for projects. Her idea was, what if you could time travel? Do you know what time travel is? What if you could go to the future? And she said, what if I could go to the future and find my 80-year-old self there and ask my 80-year-old self advice? What advice would my 80-year-old self give me? Which is kind of wild because you're really asking yourself, but you hope you're wiser and older, and maybe you've been through a lot of experiences. So she asked people, all different people, boys and girls and older people and younger people. She went to people from age 7 to 88 years old to ask these questions. And I'm going to share with you some of the answers. And then we're going to create our own artwork where we're going to ask ourselves, pretend we're 80 years old, and decide what we think is really important. So one person, Bailey, who was 19 years old, said, "You're okay. You're okay." And Susan decided to put this on a yellow background and use orangey red typography or letters. And the okay is a little larger than your. So I'm going to read a few of the examples. Catherine, who's 45 years old, said, "It will be better than you imagined." That's what her 80-year-old self would have said. David said, "Everything matters." And Alicia, who's 37, said, "This is your life. Love it." And Susan decided to use different color backgrounds, different size types, different color types. Listen to your mom. Be friendly to people. Don't pull people's hair. This person was 8 years old who wrote that. Some of you may be 8 years old. I wonder if you would write something like that. And there are no wrong answers, right? Whatever you would write is the right answer for you. Amelia, who's 12 years old, wrote, "Try new things. It's okay to make mistakes." I love that one. I think mistakes are really important. It's how we learn, right? We spoke about that last week. Carol, who's 44, said, "Make the world a better place." And we're going to go through a bunch of these, and then we're going to come up with our own. Julian, who's 56, said, "It is possible." So those things that you dream about, that you really want, it is possible. So some of these words are powerful, right? They're words that inspire us, that push us further to try for things. They're words that maybe when we feel insecure or not sure of ourselves, we remember that we can do it, right? This person wrote, "Keep trying, don't give up." And the next one is "One day at a time." Richard, who's 56, said, "Make it up as you go." And Liz, who's 25, said, "Color outside the lines." What does that mean? That means follow some of the rules and break some of the rules and do it your own way. That means you can kind of be your own person. Enjoy your hair while you have it. That was Doug. That's kind of funny. Bonnie, who's 49, said, "Make more friends." Barbara, who's 82, she's over 80, said, "Don't ever lie." And Susan said, "Let your feelings be known." I love how beautiful the typography is, and I love how it's set up on the page, and we're going to talk about that in a few minutes. Slow down and smell the roses. What do you think that means? You think it means take time to look around and see all the beautiful things? Smell the roses means that you should take everything in, the fragrance, the beauty, right? Sometimes we're moving so fast when we're running from one activity to the next that we don't. Let's see, try again and again and again. Ooh, I like this one. Be you. That means there's only one you. And that's who you should be. And you should not be like everybody else. You already know what you need. I believe that. Less internet, more love. That was from Kelly, who's 25. Eat well, exercise, make hobbies and friends. Read more chapter books. That was Jennifer, who's 7 years old. Do you guys like to read? Well, I hope so. Okay, practice compassion. That means care about people. Forgive yourself. Do you ever beat yourself up? Well, this person wrote, "Forgive yourself," and this was Danielle, who's 21 years old. So as I'm reading these, you should start to think about what words matter to you. What advice would, if you could time travel and go to your 80-year-old self, what advice do you think your 80-year-old self would give you? Would it be about friends or love or compassion? Whatever your answer is the right one for you. Be the person you want to be. It gets easier. Study more. Find your own truth. Do something creative every day. I love that one. Get out and do things. And these are with interesting colors, right? And backgrounds. Deal with it. Be yourself and do your homework. That was Camille, who's 18 years old. Your life is precious. It is precious. Look to others for help and to help. You are smarter and stronger than you realize. And that's Lori, who's 24 years old. So you're probably getting the idea that this book is a feel-good book, right? Pay attention to the good. Do more of what you love. That's Michael. Friends before screen time. That's Josh. Stay in touch with friends. Be nicer to yourself. That's a good one. That person is Joan, who's 85 years old, wrote that. Go for it. It's not a dumb idea. Do things that matter to your heart. That's a beautiful one. That means do things you love, right? Don't give up on the things you love. So I think you have an idea of what this book is all about. I think it's very, very special. Do the right thing. Don't be afraid. Travel before your knees give out. That must be an older person. You did your best. That means sometimes if you work really hard, whatever your best is good enough. Sit back and enjoy the ride. Love is everywhere. Look for it. That's a lovely one too. So you have an idea now that this book, this very special book, Advice from My 80-Year-Old Self, is all real words and ideas from people of all ages. And we're going to use this as our idea book, but we're going to do our own today. And I would love you guys to put on your thinking cap and think about what advice would you give. So we're going to take out a piece of our paper from our Bristol pad. We have like 20 pages in here, so we have so many that you can do more than one if you like. And I wanted to show you also, I may take two pieces out because I wanted to show you that if you don't have a ruler, which I don't have a ruler today, I can use a second piece of paper to make a straight line, and I'm going to show you that. So the first thing I'm going to do is decide what I want to write. And I can look through the book to get ideas. I can think about what's important to me. And I think I am going to write something about love, because I think that's important. So I'm going to go to my pencil case where I have my chunky pencils, and I have my sharpener, and I have my eraser. Remember this gum eraser that you can pull? And I'm going to shut my case. And I have my markers, my thin markers that we used last week. And I also have my erasable colored pencils. I may use both. So now I have to decide first what I want to write. And I think I'm going to write about love, and maybe love is everywhere, or love yourself. Maybe love yourself. I think that's important. I think if you can love yourself, you can love other people. So now I get to decide how I want to put the words on the page. And if you don't know how to spell some words, you can ask your grown-up. And what I may do is one of the pieces of paper that I'm going to use as my ruler to make straight lines, I'm also going to use as a scratch kind of, I'm going to mock up meaning we're going to just play and practice how it's going to look on the page. And then I'm going to do my real one. So love yourself, 2 different words. Maybe I would do one on one line and one on another line. See how practice compassion is on 2 lines, and the artist put them very much in the middle, and practice starts with purple at the top, and it kind of changes color. It's red at the bottom. And this side has lots of different size, type, and lots of different lines. So love yourself. I'm going to do a pretend rectangle where I'm going to write out kind of how I think I'm going to see this. So I'm going to make love really big, and I'm going to free draw this. And your parents can give you the spelling of what you want to write. And it could be art before dishes, or love yourself, or friends are important, or something about the world, something about nature. You get to decide what your special saying is going to be. And when we're finished with this artwork, it can be in your room. You can give this to somebody in your family or a friend. So love yourself. So love I'm going to make in capital letters, and I'm going to make it really big. And yourself, I'm going to move this over a little bit so you can all see it. Yourself I'm going to make smaller in lowercase. And if you need your grown-up to help you spell or place it on the paper, you can ask for help. But it's also okay if it's not perfect, because we have erasers, right? We can change it. So the love, I'm going to do like a third down on the page. So I'm going to take my other paper and I'm going to line up on the left side the papers together. So I'm going to make a line now with my regular pencil. And then I'm going to make another line. I'm going to line it up on the left side. Maybe I'll go a little further down. And I've decided that my top line, maybe I want to go a little lower. So I can use this eraser, because that's going to be the bottom of my letters. So I'm showing you that even grown-ups make mistakes and it's okay. I'm going to go a little further down. And if you want to change yours after you do a line, that's okay. And if I want to erase it a little bit better, I can use my kneaded eraser. Okay. Now love has 4 letters. It's L-O-V-E, right? L-O-V-E. And your saying may have more letters. So maybe you have to write smaller. And I really want you to come up with your own saying, something that you feel is important, that you want to say to the world. So, okay, so I'm going to start with love. Make a big L. And I know my 4 letters need to go across the page. And I decided to do my page vertically. Now, if you wanted to do it vertically like I am, you can, or horizontally. Horizontally is side to side. And I need an E. Now, my spacing is pretty good, it works, but if it didn't, I could erase and shift things over. Now, yourself has, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 letters, so double the amount of letters. But I'm going to do smaller type for that. So let's see if it fits. And I can erase it if it doesn't. Okay, now I have a little extra room here, and I could do a little drawing if I want to, like Susan O'Malley didn't, but I could if I want to. So maybe I'll do a heart, because I'm talking about love. So I did a little heart there. And if I wanted to do more designs at the bottom, I could. So there's no right or wrong. So this is my scratch copy, which I'm going to practice on that and then do the real thing on here. And I'm so lucky I have enough paper, and you do too. So the love, I think I'm going to do in red marker. So I'm going to practice on my scratch copy. And I forgot the little heart, right? Just realized that. And maybe I will color that in with marker too. Now the yourself, I think I may do the yourself in different colors, and maybe I will do that with the colored pencils to make it a little different. And you could do it with markers or colored pencils. I'm going to just pick different colors. And then if I like the way it looks, I'm going to do this in a bigger way on my main one. So I used purple, dark blue, light blue, yellow. And if a color doesn't stand out and you want to go over it with another color, like the yellow didn't really show so well, so I'm going to go over it with an orange. And then a dark red. And you can do it your way. You may decide that you want to do a pattern, or you may decide that you want to do the whole thing in marker or the whole thing in colored pencil. That's okay. So I did 2 blacks, which is a mistake. So I'm going to put brown over one. Okay, and so maybe I will color the top part with a yellow. And I'm doing little circles because that's a great way to shade. I just want to see what it looks like. I like how it's called an ombre when it goes from one color to another color. And that's what Susan O'Malley did. So I'm going to try to see if I can make up my own ombre where half of it will be yellow. And I'll go a little bit further. I'm going to go over the yourself with yellow. And then at the bottom, I'm going to have orange. I'm going to start at the bottom with pure orange doing circles. And then come up and see what that looks like. And if I don't like it, I can erase it because these colored pencils are erasable. Okay. Now typography is fun because you get to decide which letters are going to be big. And part of it was love is only 4 letters, so if it was going to go across the page it had to be larger. But love is an important word, I think. So put these here. So I like the way that looks, but I can also enhance it. I can add to it. Maybe the inside of the O for the love is a color. Let's see, maybe I will use, light blue. And if my pencils need sharpening, I can sharpen them with my pencil sharpener. Now it's nice and sharp. And I'm going to color the inside. And it's going over the yellow, so it's turning a little blue-green. And that looks kind of fun. And I may add more to it, but I think that that looks great. So I'm going to start on my main one, but I'm going to leave this on the side as my practice so I kind of have an idea of what colors I want to use. And I could make some of the letters thicker if I want to too. So I'm going to go with my thin markers. Now you have from your first box thicker markers, and I think it's easier to do this with the thin, but you could use the thicker as well. And what's really great is after you do it slowly, when we're all done, we can erase the pencil marks. And I'm trying to draw really straight. So I wrote the words love. Now I would like to make them bold because it's an important word. So I'm going to thicken the line. And you could go over it with your thicker red marker, or I'm just going to do an extra line on each letter to make it a little thicker. And this is going to be a great sign to have in my room to remember when I'm feeling, do you ever feel blue or sad? Well, if you have a sign that says love yourself, maybe it'll cheer you up. I think this will cheer me up. Or some other word that's really kind or loving. Okay, so I'm going to go over each letter carefully, slowly. And if you need help, your grown-up can help you place it on the page. And you can always do a practice one like I did. Okay, so this looks pretty good now. The love is really bold and really big, which is what I wanted. Okay. So now I did the blue for the Y, and you can do a whole bunch of these. I mean, you may not want to stop at one. You may say, this is so much fun, and I have so much to say that I want to do a whole bunch of them and give them away as presents. And remember last week, oops, it broke. Sometimes that happens. Last week we cut the paper in half because we were doing the flowers. And if you want to do small sayings and cut this paper in half, you can do that too. Okay, O. And now we have a U. You know what I did? Huh. I just realized on my practice I started with purple and I went to dark blue and light blue, and here I started with dark blue and light blue and I forgot the purple. So I'm going to put the purple. I could either go over everything and erase it, or I could wing it, which I'm going to do because I like the way this looks. I'm going to go with a purple on the U, so I changed it a little bit. Now if you didn't like it, you could erase it, but I think it actually looks good. Okay, so now I need the orange. And I'm kind to myself when I make mistakes. I don't say, oh, Marnie, you made a mistake. Because sometimes our mistakes are even better than what we planned. Okay, so now the red. And what's great is since we made these lines, for our type, we know it's all going to be very even on the paper. Okay, and green. And if I don't like the way something looks, I can erase it. And I can use this eraser too, right? And you may decide to do all this in marker, but I kind of like mixing the marker with a pencil. Okay, now I have brown. And now I have black. Are you using lots of colors? We have so many colors to work with. Okay, and now the heart, I'm going to give it a black outline. And I colored it in with red marker. What would happen if maybe I could shade it with a pencil a little bit better? Remember our circles? So I'm going to try that. I can always go over all of it with a marker. But I like it red, but I think it would be really fun if I could do like a highlight here. And just kind of shade it and go a little lighter. It'll look almost three-dimensional. There's no right and wrong. I'm going to go over parts of it. So I made it darker on the left side. Okay, now I have yellow at the top. But before I do yellow at the top, I'm going to erase some of the lines where I wrote, because I don't need them anymore. And this is giving me little like shavings from the eraser, so I think I'm going to use my kneaded eraser instead. Now I have to be careful when I go near the erasable pencil marks, because I do not want to erase the letters. I just want to erase the line. So I can take a teeny little piece if I want to, right? This is so much fun using this eraser. And then I can pull it apart, and I have a few more areas that I could erase. And take your time with this because it's a really fun project, and it's not a race, and you can relax and play with this a little bit. And I'm looking at it thinking, I wonder what else it looks like it needs something else since it's bigger now, and I could just do the orange, but maybe I'll do something else. Maybe I'll do hearts at the bottom too. And hearts are the same on both sides. They're the mirror image. And I'm just doing a whole bunch of hearts at the bottom. And I think I'm going to fill in the hearts with pink marker. So I'm going to go around it and fill it in. Because sometimes when you blow something up to a larger size, maybe you need to add something to it. I thought it looked great in the smaller size, but in the larger it needed something at the bottom. And I'm doing little circles to help and outlining it with a pink marker, which helps me stay in the lines. But it's okay if I go out of the line, that's okay. Okay, so now, last heart, I go around and I outline it with a pink marker and do circles. It's very colorful. Okay, and the inside of the O I forgot to do too, see? And I can add things to it as I go along if I want to. So the inside, I'm going to color blue and I'm going to do circles. Because the inside is like an oval shape and it might be fun to just color it in. And I could do a pattern in it if I wanted to, or just fill in the blue here. You are the designer. Okay, so now I'm ready for the yellow. Now let's see, if my hand gets tired, I may decide to do it a little differently, but let's see. So I'm doing big circles because this is a lot of work. When we did the little one, it wasn't so much work, but it's a lot of work. And remember we had the yellow go into the O and it became like a blue-green, which is fun. So I'm just doing circles, circles, circles with a colored pencil, and the colored pencil goes right over the marker. And boy, you need to be strong to do this. But you could leave the background white if you wanted to, and you could add like hearts or stars, or you could leave it plain, or stripes, right? You get to decide how, and it maybe depending on what you write, you'll have more words than me, or more letters, and maybe you'll fill up the page differently. And you could also do a border, right? Which maybe we'll do. Okay, so I'm gonna do a little bit more. And I may leave a little white. Like I think I'm gonna go right to yourself and then leave it. And so it'll be a little different than this one. And at the bottom I'm going to do orange. And I'm gonna come up. So it's gonna be like an ombre, which we spoke about. It changes from one color to another. Kind of tie-dyed too. And I could do a border around the whole thing. I could come up with an idea. Are you guys going to do a border on yours? Are you thinking about how you're going to place it? And at any time you can stop the video and you can kind of place your letters or words, and or you can color along with me, whatever works for you. Okay. So I did Love Yourself, but I still think it could use something else. I mean, I could keep it just like this, or I could do maybe a border, and I think I would like to do a border. So I'm going to use my pencil to plan it out. Maybe I'll do like circles every inch or so, and it's not exact. And I can go down, and I'm just eyeballing it. I'm just kind of every so often doing a circle, but it could be any shape. It could be a line, or it could be a heart, or it could be, what else could it be? A star. And I think, let's see, what color haven't we used that would be fun? Maybe I'll do a pattern here. Maybe I'll do red and blue. So I'll skip one. I'm doing red where I'm skipping one. And it may not work out exactly, but let's see. But I think it'll be fun to have a pattern going around my piece. And a border is like a frame, right? Oops, so I have two near each other, so maybe I want to add one more, even though it's not totally even, but it's fine. Okay, so now I'm going to do the blue. Every other one will be blue now, so I'm going to go red, blue, red, blue, red, blue. That's my pattern. And your pattern can be any colors you want. They're kind of like little twinkly lights. And I'm doing little circles to fill them in. But it's really fun to come up with your own important saying, what you think you would, what advice you would give yourself. It's kind of a fun project. Okay, love yourself. I'm looking at my heart and I'm thinking maybe it would be nice to outline it in blue. Now that I did the blue and red around the border. And I'm deciding if I should outline the other, the other hearts, but maybe I'll leave them. But you could also, like the fact that I colored in the O on love, maybe I want to color in the O here with yourself. And since I used colored pencil, I think I will also with yourself. I will color in with red the O, the inside of the O. It just makes it very decorative and very colorful. So this is my saying, love yourself. And I could do another one, and I could use my scrap paper to place the writing, and it could be this way or it could be this way. And I wanted to show you, I did another one earlier, and I wrote be kind. And I did it very differently, right? I did lots of lines. I did like almost bubble letters and a design down here. It got a little crinkled, but that's okay. But I used different colors in each word. And this too is just 2 words. And I can't wait to see what you come up with in terms of your ideas for advice from your 80-year-old self. And I really hope that once you finish one, maybe you'll do more, you could post all of them. You'll have your grown-up put them on Instagram with hashtag exploring colors. And I can't wait to see what advice you have for the rest of us. And I hope you'll put it in your room, you'll share these with your friends, and remember, whatever you think is important is important. And you should share it with the world the way Susan O'Malley did. And we're so happy that you created with us today, and I can't wait to see what you have done. This is the last lesson of this box, and we can't wait to share with you the next box and all the fun things we'll be doing. Enjoy.